Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Richard Nuttall. I'm Anthony Barrett, joined by Richard Nuttall, head coach of the Hofstra men's soccer team. Coach, thanks for the time. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Really good.
And Coach, let's look back at this last week now. You had one game at St. Francis. You lose 1-0. St. Francis scores their only goal in the 13th minute. What did you think of your team's performance?
To be honest, quite poor. We had difficult conditions and wind and rain, but overall we didn't adapt to the conditions very well, and just disappointed. We had patches where we played well and we got on top of them, but to be totally honest, I think we're a little bit lackluster. And we didn't, our rhythm's not there yet, Anthony, and it's something that we're trying to get to. We haven't got our natural rhythm as a team, and it's a little bit contrived at the moment. So we're working now, we're having great practices, so I'm pleased about that. We've just got to get into our rhythm and our tempo, and as of yet, we've only had little patches in games.
When you say not adapting to the weather, do you mean trying to make long passes through the air, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, the conditions were severe and they were very changeable between driving rain and wind and a fast surface, but you've got good teams adapt, and we didn't adapt, and we didn't get the ball down and play enough, and you know, we changed it around a bit. We threw Tyler up front to maybe try and get a few flick-ons, Tyler Botti, and we weren't successful. At the last 20 minutes we got into our groove a little bit, but we just couldn't find the goal.
Roberto Pellegrini, even though he let up that one goal, still had 7 saves. How have you seen his game change between last year and this year?
Well, I think, to be honest, Roberto finished last year very well, and he's from that point forward to now, he's playing good ball. He's got to improve his kicking, but his reflexes and his reading of the game is tremendous. So we're happy with his progress, but we know there's still a lot more to come from Roberto.
You had the advantage 6-1 in corner kicks. Why were you unable to put home any of those set pieces?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of chances you wonder how we've missed them, but it's just, you know, if you take your chances you win the match. But to be honest, it's just one of those days where it wouldn't go in, and we did create loads of chances off the corner kicks, and it just didn't go on the day. And again, you can blame it on the conditions or our application as a team or individual concentration, but it just didn't happen.
And you said before now that you've been having a good week of practice so far. What has been the focus in practice this week?
Well, we've had a good month of practice, you know, it's been good. It's enjoyable with the group that we've got, and they work hard. The focus has been on getting the rhythm and getting the ball moving, the tempo on the ball, and understanding one another, you know. Hopefully we'll get Maid, the Norwegian, back. It'll help us up front. And one or two other people are getting out of the injury zone, hopefully. So it's just a matter of getting our rhythm and understanding one another on the field. You
brought up that you put in Tyler Botti up front to try and spark the offense a little bit. Is that something that we could expect to see as the season goes along?
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler's, you know, he's a competent defender, and he's also can make things happen up front as well with his presence and his ability in the air and his work rate. Didn't quite come off on the last game, but he worked hard, and it's something we will look at in the future too.
You have a pair of games this weekend, both on the road. You're at Colgate and at Cornell. What have you seen from those two teams so far?
Well, you know, we've got some knowledge on them. We've seen them a couple of times. Just very Colgate, a class team. You know, they're doing very well, and they've had some great results. So they move the ball well. They've got a couple of exciting players. So it's going to be tough. Cornell, we don't know as much about, but we'll know more about them in the next 2 or 3 days.
And when you have a game or a setup like this, where you have a game on a Friday and then a game on a Sunday, do you show the team any film or anything of the second game before that first game's over?
No, we concentrate on the first game, and once that game's over, then we look towards the next game. So.
All right, Coach, one more question now before we let you go. What's going to be the biggest key to going 2-0 this weekend?
I think the rhythm and the tempo, which I've spoken about. We've got good players, and I think it's a bit more self-confidence from the individuals on the field, a bit more belief, and just getting that ball moving and being natural out there, because they've got ability. And again, I think they're putting pressure on themselves individually at the moment. They've just got to relax and play.
All right, Richard Nuttall, head coach of the Hofstra men's soccer team. Coach, thank you for the time and best of luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hofstra fans, for joining us inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Richard Nuttall.